Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Ngani Titan. We're here on the Arctic map, and I'm in the M26 Pershing. And it's a tier 9 game, pretty solid tier 9, although there's a good distribution of tanks of all the tiers. We have a reasonable mix of tier 8s, tier 9s and tier 7s, and we actually have a reasonable mix of tanks as well. There's a good few light tanks in both teams, which is good because this map provides some very good opportunities for scouting, although the degree to which the tanks make use of it is, well, we will see. I decided that since I don't need to do any scouting myself, I'm going to stake a claim on A4, because that is a good forward position to have a peek, see what people are doing. If anybody's coming around the northwestern side of the map, there is an MX 1390 racing ahead to that location in front of me. So I'm just following along as best I can and going to see what he sees. Now he's after running into a T-49. There's another light tank. Two light tanks in the low ground, that low trench that runs in front of that mountain there. And the T-49 and the MX 1390 are having an exchange of views there just north of that mountain on the northwestern side of the map. 1390s decided to bug out, which is probably a smart move, and the T-49 has decided to pursue him in order to kill him, which is possibly not the best of moves. He's risking his tank, and he's not necessarily going to gain anything out of it. So he's still there trying to kill the 1390, which he's just managed to do, and I'm going to kill him. So not sure if that was a good exchange for the red team. I got spotted alright, but that's all he knows. He hasn't provided his team with any further intelligence other than there's a Pershing up here. He hasn't spotted the two heavies, I suspect, coming up behind me. They may have been spotted by the T-54 lightweight or whatever it was that was inside in the ravine there in the centre. But since nobody's appeared at the corner, and there's two tanks now coming around the middle passage there, I decided it was worth coming over to this side. It's a good ridgeline fighting position, and it allows me to see if there's anybody at the corner, and there isn't. So I'm going to continue around until I make contact at the very least. The M103 is down there, and that's a bad location. It's a really bad location to go at the very start of the map. Once you're spotted in that location, the only way out is either forward down into the ravine where the medium tank is, or back. And back is uphill, in the snow and in a forested area. It can be quite slow. It's very slow when you're reversing, so generally it's not a recommended location at the start of the game. I was tempted to push on south, but I thought there wasn't enough support with me and that I'd be better off going into the centre of the map. I also think the enemy light tanks have made a huge mistake crossing over a medium tank, that's a T-44. Medium crossing over, then they're pursuing the light tank. It's not a very good idea in my opinion. He's out of support and the T-54 lightweight is now going to join him just after he's expired. He's out of support, he's under the guns of allied tanks, not of his friendly tanks, and anybody he lights up, most of them aren't going to be in a position to be shot by his allies. He can be shot, I think, from the tanks to the south. He's going to be lit up by the tanks to the north. I'm going to get the odd shot at him. The guy probably in the north of me there, the heavy tank, probably gets the odd shot at him as well. I think it's a waste of a pretty valuable tank that could be better used later on in the game by his team. It's not going to give him... It's not giving his team much of an advantage by going in there, even if he takes out the light tank and it's an exchange. I think the T-44 managed to take out one of the light tanks as well, so I think he's probably done so as well. But even though it's an exchange, I don't think it's a good exchange at this point in the game. And we finish up a tank up, and we're going to be another tank up now because the T-29 is going to be completely vulnerable to me. I'm going to have an easy time taking out that T-29, whereas if the T-29 had been here with the T-54 lightweight, it would be much harder, and I'm not too sure if I would have been so willing to poke around this corner with two tanks shooting at me. And now I can shoot the King Dragon. He's making an escape attempt in a direction that's going to allow me to get another shot in. I'm going to finish him off. Now the enemy are down two more tanks, and it's partly because Those medium and light tanks are no longer in that location there in front of me here where I was. In fact, if they were there still, I might not have come down this direction in the first place because it would be just too risky. I'd be too much in danger of a tank coming up like the T-10 has just now and catching me in the rear while I'd be caught between the tanks, multiple tanks in the ravine behind me. Now the T-10 is up there, so I'm not going to face into a T-10. I don't want him. I'm not going to go aggressively against him, but I want him to keep spotting me so that he's encouraged to come out after me. I want him to think that I'm a relatively easy target. And now that we have him where we want him, because he's tracked and he's in the open, he's been shot at by multiple friendly tanks, we can finish him off. Well, it'll take another round, but we'll get the kill shot, or else the other tank coming up beside him will. And sure enough, we finish him off, we get the kill shot in here. So now I can push forward, I've got some support, and I know the area behind me is pretty much clear. Looks like an enemy heavy tank has managed to sneak up into our artillery. So we're going down here. There's a T-95 below, which is bad news. I'm very close to a one-shot kill from a T-95. I do have support, but we can see if we can pick off some of the artillery. There's one of them anyway, so that's the 212A. We're getting rid of him. So that is valuable, but we need to get rid of the other artillery. Now the other medium has gone around to the front of to the north of the T-95, and I'm planning to go around the other side. But I do get a bit greedy, I think. I get a bit over anxious to try and do damage, and I take a route that's actually too aggressive. I should have gone further east, taken the lower ground, because the slope is away. That T-95 is in actually a kind of a hollow in the ground, and I could have taken a more sheltered route and still be in a position to either take out the artillery or put the odd shot into the flank of the T-95. I'm too far forward now and he's starting to turn, so we're going to try and get a tracking shot. We managed the tracking shot, but he repairs. Did he have 2 repair kits? It looked like he was already tracked. Going back and looking at it again, he was actually tracked, and he was tracked before I fired, and he repaired then after I had fired. So that track damage was actually a waste. I would have been better off waiting until he had upped the tracks and then fired at him to stop him from moving further. But we have to notice these things when we're playing, so it will be you live and learn kind of thing. And I probably, like you said, could have used the terrain better as well. I was kind of worried at this point that people would come at the T-95 one at a time and give him the opportunity to win the match, because it's an extremely powerful tank and very difficult to penetrate from the front. However, looking at the minimap, it looks like my allies aren't being foolish. They're not arriving from a single direction, and they're arriving reasonably coordinated or reasonably together. So the T-95 will have a problem because he can't cover everybody, and he's going to have to take a risk against someone, and he's, there's no escape. He's not a fast tank or anything like that, and he hasn't any way of covering his flank. He is in open terrain. So the Tiger has flank shots at him here and takes them. Takes one of them anyway. And he's continuing to face the other tanks because the tank destroyer is closing in as well. So he's turning now, and the Tiger manages to finish him off. But I don't think he'd have survived anyway, not with the 3 of them closing in. So we have a victory, and we didn't make any money. We did over 2,000 damage. We got 5 kills. We almost got 1,000 damage. First class mastery. Got a sniper medal. 13 penetrations, so we did reasonably well with our shots. And we came number 1 by experience with the Tiger number 2. So it's 2 tier 8 tanks at 1 and 2. So that was pretty good going. So thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you haven't already done so, please consider giving the channel a subscription. And once again, I thank you for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.